Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. The next guest, the concluding speaker of the IF Expo, needs no introduction. If you thought that after the April 4th meeting, everything is said and done, well, you'll have to guess again. I'm honored to invite Demetra Kalogerou, Head of Cyprus Security and Exchange Commission, to deliver the concluding speech of the IF Expo. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Actually, it's been the last 2 years that I'm speaking to IF Expo, and I'm doing the last speech. And this year, I'm not going to have any slides, so you will be focusing on me. Before I begin, first of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers for hosting this important international event in Cyprus, and thank them for their kind invitation again to myself and to address this gathering. Over the last 2 days, we have had the opportunity to exchange views about the latest industry developments in what is a rapidly changing environment. In this closing keynote speech, I will provide a brief overview of the recent developments of the Cypriot securities market and outline the upcoming changes in the regulatory and supervisory framework as it relates to entities supervised by Cysec. First and foremost, our supervision of the Cyprus investment firms, funds, fund managers, fiduciary, listed companies, exchanges, MTFs in Cyprus and all their activities is defined by the commitment for the investors, of the protection of the investors. It is our mission to ensure that the products and services marketed, sold, and distributed by and to European and third country investors are of high quality, transparent, and above all, appropriate instruments that match the risk-return profile of each and every particular investor. It is only in pursuit of this primary objective that we can exercise effective supervision and ultimately ensure the healthy development of our financial services industry in Cyprus. This is an ever-evolving mission because by its very nature, financial regulation is an evolution in itself. We are fortunate to be able to draw from European-wide legislation that helps inform our own regulation as we stringently adopt and introduce the latest European directives. Indeed, developments in the European financial markets have been and will continue to be widespread. The singularly most important and much awaited legislative change in the next year is undoubtedly the MiFID II and directive, which will be coming into effect, as you all know, in January 2018. MiFID II and MiFIR will radically change the financial sector and the industry as a whole from what we know it today. The objective is to implement new rules and regulations that take into account recent developments in the financial environment, and particularly the financial crisis and the rapid technological growth, for improving the functioning of the financial markets in order to be more efficient, resilient, and transparent. This will ultimately pave the way for the introduction of new competencies for supervisory authorities, such as product monitoring and product intervention. Here, those firms primarily providing complex financial products will find themselves at a crossroad. New changes at the European level means that there will be a mechanism for prohibiting or restricting the marketing, distribution, and sale of any financial instrument that gives rise to serious concerns regarding investor protection or investor detriment. So companies that specialize in such products will need to decide whether they will alter their strategy on the provision of such products, complex instruments, or whether to turn to provision of different investment products which are safer and more appropriate to private investors. To encourage this change in the industry's strategic direction, we have introduced a number of new actions in the last few years to help redefine market practices and weed out those common market deficiencies that give rise to such common concerns regarding investor detriment. Following consultation with all market participants, these actions have provided guidance for firms under our supervision for properly implement the legislation as defined by both Cysec and MiFID I for the moment. Firstly, we have introduced the bonus promotion circular. In March 2017, we provided additional guidance on the types of bonus, incentives, non-permissible to be offered to retail clients by CIFs, by investment firms. In our view, it is highly unlikely that a firm offering bonuses designed to incentivize retail clients to trade in complex speculative products could demonstrate that they are acting honestly, fair, and professionally, and in the best interest of the retail investor. Simply, we see no value or role for bonuses in the market. Secondly, the call centers circular, it was issued in February 2017. We banned the use of outsourced call centers and the aggressive marketing practices often associated with firms passporting investment services to the rest of Europe from Cyprus and in third countries. Cysec has also gone a step further by introducing tougher requirements for staff who provide information to clients on behalf of regulated entities. Cysec has issued particular guidance regarding marketing communications, setting the parameters of what is clear, fair, and not misleading, and which prohibits the use of aggressive language and repeated calls to the retailers. It also requires the use of a standard information script when people are providing information to clients in order not to cross the line between what is an introduction of a product and what is an investment advice. This issue will be the subject of on-site checks in this year. Thirdly, we have introduced in November 2016, we accommodated the questions and answers of ESMA, which is our European regulator, concerning the leverage. Actually, Cysec has limited the default leverage to 1:50, with an option for appropriate clients to increase this if so desired, provided they fully understand the risks. And what I'm talking only for the complex instruments. And CIFs now need to ensure that the client cannot change the default leverage to a higher level unless he or she passes a good appropriateness test. And implementing a robust leverage policy. Alongside this, Cysec proposed also a negative balance protection on an account basis, according to which CIFs must ensure that the maximum loss for the clients at any point in time never exceeds the client's available funds. Fourthly is the remuneration policies. Since June 16, a circular has been issued by Cysec upon CIFs in order to say to CIFs to establish, implement, and maintain remuneration policies and practices that comply with both the requirements of MiFID law in force in relation to conflicts of interest and with the good conduct of business. Finally, and perhaps the most fundamentally for the future of the industry, is the latest measure to introduce a standardized means of trading short-term speculative financial products, what we call digital option contracts. With this circular, we have banned, actually, the distribution and trading of binary options in their current form. This circular is still under consultation. We haven't issued it in a formal way. And in particular, the risks, we've seen that our position is very clear there, that these products, after we have made our own research and studies are highly speculative and not really suitable for the retail of the mass retail clients. In particular, these risks often appear to arise because of their short-term nature until their maturity compared to the other investment products. And also, they do not appear to have a transparent pricing structure. And also, we've seen a lot of conflict of interest between the client and the SIFs providing them. So in order to accommodate all these risks involved in these short-term options called binaries or digital or whatever other names they have, we have issued that circular. And I don't know, my feeling is that all these binary options, at the end of the day, it will still be more appropriate to be given only to professional investors. These fundamental reforms to the conduct of business of SIFs under our supervision will continue and will be defined by further investigation into the way negative balance protection, leverage, automatic margin closeout, control functions are being used by SIFs. Moreover, on European level, with the intervention powers that with MiFID II that they are coming in place in January 2018, there is a large possibility to impose more stricted measures across all Europe, not only in different jurisdictions in Europe, across all Europe in order to decrease the consumer complaints that are still coming out from these speculative products. On the supervision side, with these recent changes designed to enhance investor protection, it is now a priority to ensure their robust implementation. Having consulted with the industry, we are equipped with a robust supervisory toolkit to implement our mission and ensure that those entities we supervise are meeting our high standards all the time. This ensures the smooth functioning of the industry and the investors' trust back into the investment firms. We communicate in March this year Cysec's Supervisory Action Plan for 2017, which is based on a risk-based approach and will take new actions into account when conducting on-site and thematic inspections to ensure compliance. Following the implementation of its risk-based supervision framework, Cysec started a process of in-depth inspections based on a predefined set of supervisory criteria back in August 2015. Market procedures, governance and risk processes, client onboarding, suitability requirements, appropriateness tests, AML procedures were all heavily scrutinized. And those that were found that were in violation of the law, we imposed penalties. In the last 2 years, Cysec has imposed more than 4 million fines in the SIFs. This is the largest set of fines ever imposed by Cysec on investment firms. Cysec has suspended also authorization of 16 firms due to significant deficiencies and has entirely revoked authorizations of 3 other SIFs on grounds of serious violations. In addition to the financial penalties imposed by Cysec, has also called upon the SIFs to adopt a series of corrective measures to improve their internal procedures, arrangements, and practices aimed at ensuring full compliance at all times with their legal obligations within set deadlines. The compliance function within the investment firms is very, very important. This course of follow-up action will continue until there is a full compliance across the industry with all the legislation we have in place to protect the investors. We will continue our inspections, and Cysec will not hesitate again to take actions where necessary. Supervisory on-site checks will be repeated each year on either a thematic or a broad basis with the aim to improve compliance and, of course, full audit with the high-risk firms. Before closing, let me say a few words on the additional work stream Cysec is currently pursuing alongside the robust supervision. Particular importance is given to the financial technology and innovation, and particularly blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is behind the development and operation of cryptocurrencies, such as bitcoins, and offers the promise of changing the way currency data is transferred. Already, other competent authorities, startups, and well-known financial organizations and institutions are examining the further use and benefits of blockchain technology and that can offer to the financial sector. It is still early days, but we cannot rest of the innovation. And it's fundamental to continue to evolve as a Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission, but also as a European securities member, and analyzing the industry and know where, why, and when new innovation is coming and can assist the provision of such innovation in our market. This is why Cysec will participate in the University College London Blockchain Technology for Algorithmic Regulation and Compliance. This is the Barak project. We are one of the members, and it aims to study the changes that blockchain could introduce to regulation and compliance and identify possible benefits of its utilization. Actually, we want to use the blockchain in order as a tool to supervise our entities. Cysec has pledged to devote 100 hours per year in order to provide supervised access to its data and systems and as a test bed for researching, implementing, and evaluating new methods that may emerge. Moreover, the concept of robo-advice, that is the use of automation and digital techniques to build and manage portfolios, is also attracting attention. It has the potential to minimize time and cost. And we are doing an information search and analysis in order to promote this concept that belongs into the fintech world. Cysec is all regulated also. It's good to mention that towards the end of 2017, maybe beginning of 2018, it is our goal also to move ahead with the introduction of crowdfunding in Cyprus. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project through raising of small amounts of capital from the public at large and retailers, and through the internet. So it can help provide an alternative means of financing startups, innovative companies, and high-tech companies, and through the use of this tool. Cysec, as all regulators, wants to understand both the benefits and the risks involved with the introduction of the above technologies that I mentioned. And we need the regulatory, of course, the regulation under these new innovative measures. Which regulations we are going to use is going to be MiFID I, it's going to be MiFID II, or a national law is something that we are looking about. In closing, I trust that we have today provided an overview of the latest development, bad and good, for the Cypriot securities market, and demonstrated again our approach to ensure full compliance with the law designed to protect investors. Cysec is committed to maintain, of course, open channels of communications with the industry professionals, and is always prepared to discuss ways to alleviate any obstacles to the smooth functioning of the market. This commitment, of course, is never at the expense of a proper supervision and regulation of the provision of investment services in Cyprus. With these thoughts, I would like once again to congratulate the organizers for the event, and thank you for the attention.
If you're already here, we have room for 1 or 2 questions. Is anyone interested in addressing Demetra with questions about what we've just heard? Okay, an airy silence ensues.
I don't think so. You are talking to the wrong person, and here is to protect the investors, not to regulate them.
Do we have another curious question to address? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for attending the expo. It has been a great show. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you soon at the party.